One of the things that I really believe, and this comes from my time in Scripture, this comes in my walking with the Lord for a long time, this comes from my understanding of people as individuals and people as families and people as communities and tribes. I believe that God has purpose and intention for moving through all sorts of people. I really believe that one of the things that happens is when you end up having an encounter with the Lord and when you draw close to Him, it is His purpose and it is His heart to bring you to a place where He does a work of healing in you individually, initially. He does a work in separating you from the things that have tormented you and caused you difficulty. He does a work in taking who you used to be, and He takes things that would seem almost impossible to operate on, but He moves through your experiences, He moves through your past, and in the midst of prayer, in the midst of Scripture, in the midst of things that are going on, He gives you the high standard of what He desires to do in you, and then He starts to do a work of healing, of wholeness, and turning things around. Many people have had relationships in the past. Some have been with siblings, some have been with mothers, some have been with fathers. Often there are relationships that from our perspective need to be healed. God moves through that and He heals, because honestly, if those things aren't healed, they keep on being problematic and causing difficulty in new relationships that you have, because the shadow of the previous relationships that went badly end up overshadowing new relationships. And so the Lord has very specific instruction. And one of the very specific instructions that He has is that we are not to continue to follow after other false gods and after other things that are not worthy of being worshipped. Because if we follow after these things, they'll get in the way of our becoming the people that we need to become. Likewise, He has other instructions, and it is that you as a people who have encountered God, that God forgives all the evil that you've done, that God cleanses and purifies us from being exposed to darkness and to wickedness and to horror, and that as He cleanses and purifies us, He forgives us of all the things that we have done that has contributed to the evil around the world. And He starts to work in healing the world of the evil that we have done because we've submitted to Him. But likewise, He's also very, very forthright and very direct about saying that as He has forgiven us, and as we live as a forgiven people and a people who have been removed from belonging to darkness, belonging to the shadow, belonging to things that contribute to evil in other people's lives, so too we are instructed very fiercely that we are to be a people who forgive others for what they have done to us, not because they're worthy of being forgiven, not because what they have done is no big deal, because often what they've done is very great evil. Often what they have done is very harmful. But God says, because I have forgiven you, so also you are to forgive others. And just like evil is contagious and moves through a society, and darkness gives birth to more darkness, so too, being a person of the light, a person of truth, a person of reality, is also contagious. And being a person of the light, a person of forgiveness, a person who lives without guile, a person who lives without hatred, a person who lives without causing darkness to move but spreads light everywhere, so also that is contagious. And I really believe that this is part of what God has made for us to be a people who are a flashlight, even an LED flashlight, even a flashlight that has very high levels of candle power in our society, in our era, and in our time. And if there is darkness around you, but you have been exposed to and have given your heart to the one who brings light into the world, perhaps your role is to be one who is shedding light in areas that would otherwise never have light. Now, don't be surprised if your role as a bearer of light, now the light is not yours, but it is God's, and He has given it to you, and you are mediating it to the world that is around you and the world that you have reach in right now. But if God has made you a bearer of light, then don't be surprised if there are people whose eyes have become accustomed to the darkness who go, "Whoa, that's a lot of light. I'm not sure that I can stand that." Or, "Oh, what you're bringing to me," they might initially say, "hurts my eyes." It's going to happen. It's going to be okay. But for people who are initially exposed to the light, over a period of time, they will grow in their tolerance for the light, and they will be able to live in greater and greater amounts of light. And ultimately, this becomes part of their story and part of their becoming a people who end up on fire for God, and who end up liking the light, and who end up wanting to live themselves in the light and wanting to give themselves over to living in the light as well. Shalom.